Now that we've got the vehicle raised and supported, remove your center cover, remove your lug nuts. Remove the wheel. Okay, so now that the wheel's off, I can tell that these brakes are garbage. I'm going to have to replace the brakes. I don't know if you will on your application. If you do have to replace the brakes, you're going to take the caliper off the bracket off the knuckle, and continue that way, which is the way I'm going to go. If you don't, you can just take the bracket off the knuckle and continue on that way. Like I said, I'm going to be replacing the brakes, so I'm going to go right here. If you aren't, you want to go to this big bolt right back there. Remove the bracket bolts with an 18mm. Remove that bracket. Remove the rotor. Next, remove the bolt that holds the brake hose to the knuckle. Get your ABS wire off the bracket, and then follow it up here. Do the same thing right there. And if you come right here, you can use a small pocket screwdriver. There's a little metal clip right here. Just push down on that, and then you can draw this out. Let's get this 18mm nut off of here. That nut on there, give it a bonk. Remove your tie rod nut. We're going to use your hammer and bonk right along this, and hopefully it should want to drop free. Just be careful for that boot. Let's remove this 21mm nut. There's different ways of getting this joint separated. I'm just going to use a tool that looks like this. And come right up along this and get that lined up. And then I'm going to try to just apply pressure right onto that stud and try to drive it up through the knuckle. All right. That worked really well. Next, we're going to remove this ball joint nut with our 21mm. Don't go too far with that, because we're just going to start it back on a couple threads. At this point, you want to use your little hammer and give this a bonk right along here, because we want to break the ball joint free from this control arm. Ah, nice. Okay, get this off of here and carefully take your knuckle out. So now I'm going to remove this bolt right here, holding this nut with a 21 and using an 18 on the bolt side. Let's leave that in there. Take off the mounting bolts that hold this shield on. Nice. Take off the 2 bolts that hold this bracket on. Grab this sway bar, move it out of your way. Behind there, there's a little bracket. Move that out of your way as well. So you're going to use this H12 Allen head socket to go right inside this bolt head. I like to use a swivel so I can continue with my air gun. Now I'm going to hold that nut with a 21mm wrench. Grab that washer, remove the bolt. Make sure you grab that washer, wherever it is. Get this off of here. Nice. Let's just do a quick comparison to make sure these are about the same length and the same shape. Looks perfect. Let's get ready for an install. Put this right up in here, line it up with those holes. Okay, so the washer isn't going to want to go in through this frame while it's still on the bolt, so you have to start that in there first. Once you have it on, go ahead and slide the bolt right through the frame. Grab that washer and your nut. I would use a little bit of thread locker, but we'll say it's your prerogative. Let's tighten it up. Let's get this bolt in here. Let's snug them up. Let's torque this to 130 foot-pounds. Torque this bolt to 128 foot-pounds. Now we're going to take this tin right here, put it right behind there. Get the sway bar bushing lined up. Grab your outer plate with the 2 bolts. Put that over this. Get those bolts started in, and then we'll torque them down to manufacturer's specifications. Let's torque these to 44 foot-pounds. Let's get this shield back on here. I grab my castle nut from my lower ball joint. Bring this right up in here and get it started. Let's snug this up. Let's torque this to 50 foot-pounds. Once you have this torqued, you just need to make sure that your castle nut is lined up so your cotter pin can go through. If for some reason it isn't, you need to continue tightening until you get it to the point that it is able to go through. Trim off the excess. Let's get this tie rod back in here. Let's torque this to 63 foot-pounds. Let's get this in here. Before we put this nut on, I just want to show you it has two sides. You have this side with the little dimples in it and the side without. The side with the dimples faces away from the knuckle. Let's bottom that out. You just use a 6mm Allen head to hold the stud. Torque this to 50 foot-pounds. Let's get our upper ball joint in here. You just use a 6mm Allen head to hold the stud, and then you should be able to tighten it right up. Torque this to 35 foot-pounds. Let's get this bracket back on the back side of the knuckle here. Make sure you have this ABS wire nice and secured. Give it a tug. Nice. If you're still using your old bearing, just make sure you clean it up so it looks nice and pretty like this one. If you're reusing your old brakes, make sure you clean up the area where the hub's going to ride. Let's put a little bit of copper never seize right on this mounting surface. Time to get the rotor on here. I like to hold it still. I just use whatever scrap nut I've got there, and then of course the lug nut. And this just makes it so the rotor can't move around and potentially hurt anybody. It's time to install that cleaned and prepped caliper bracket. I've got my 2 bolts. I used a little bit of thread locker because that's how I roll. Bottom these out. Torque these to 70 foot-pounds. Time to install the pads. Slide them right into that bracket. If for some reason you feel as though you have to use a hammer to get them in, odds are the bracket's not clean enough and you're going to have major issues driving down the road. This feels great. Grab that caliper, get it right up on here. I've got my 2 bolts, a little bit of thread locker, start them both in and bottom them out. Torque these to 44 foot-pounds. Clean this down. Do the same to the other side of the vehicle. Get the wheel up on here and bottom out all your lug nuts. Now when it comes time to torque the lug nuts, there's 2 things to remember, whether you have the regular charger or if you have the police edition. If you have the regular, you're going to torque these lug nuts to 110 foot-pounds. If you happen to have the police edition, go ahead and torque them to 140. Here we go. Torqued. Grab your cover, give it a loving bonk and a shake.